this episode of Deep Thrones, we review House of the Dragon, Season 3, Episode 7, The Dragon in Winter. We dream with Helaena Targaryen at King's Landing. We hallucinate with Aemon Targaryen at Harrenhal. And we all prepare for the first battle at Tumbleton. Plus many more hilarious segments. Winter is here.
Death wish, not to be messed with, tested quiz. They shooting shots, hitting bricks, retesting the kids.
Welcome to Deep Thrones, the most entertaining podcast in the world of Ice and Fire. I'm your host, Sims. I got your other host here, Sheedy. What's up, Sheeds?
Hey, everybody. I'm getting my stretches in if you're watching on YouTube, because this one's gonna be intense.
Dude, don't move around too much. You're going to be sweating down there.
Just tore my ACL. Not even kidding. I was moving my upper body and my ACL just exploded.
It's like, no, I'm not doing this today.
Yeah, no, I forget sometimes that I'm in my mid-30s.
So I think it's confirmed in our pre-production meeting that we will be dropping this on Monday still.
Yeah, I'm gonna post it tonight, so that technically
Okay.
this is still a Monday release. We lied. It's not coming out August 4th. It's coming out August 3rd,
All right,
2026.
so
Year of our Lord.
don't complain to us. All right, don't complain to us. You're
It's
getting an
coming
episode
out.
on Monday.
We got it out on Monday, and we did it in a pinch, and we still did it. And also, Chris, we went mini viral this week. My Robert's Rebellion map time, 18-minute YouTube video is up over 1,600 views. Got
Let's
over 60
go.
likes,
Let's go.
a bunch of new subs to the YouTube. So check out the Robert's Rebellion speed run I attempt to do on the map.
Definitely check that out. And there's more to check out too. So if you go to the Deep Thrones Pod YouTube channel, tons of great content there. And you could also watch us in person. So you see all these crazy hijinks like, sleeveless Sims and glasses Sheedy. That's a week in, week out thing.
Yeah, but also it's cool because it reflects off of my computer. So I try to do it to where you can
True.
see my eyes, but it's weird looking. Sleeveless Sims, you got me doing the big wheel impression. There's a lot of fun stuff that you
Oh
can
yeah,
see
the
on the
big
YouTube.
wheel.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, this was a banger of an episode, so I'm excited to get into this. How about we dive in through these scenes?
Let's dive right in. So this episode opens, and Helena is having a nice dream. She's petting a horse. She's about a horse. She's about to like escape. I said horse. She's petting a horse, and she's about to escape King's Landing. It looks like the gates open. She's clearly dreaming, and then Rhaenyra fucking wakes her up.
I was thinking in this scene, waking up to Rhaenyra wouldn't be the worst thing. I mean, she
No,
woke
I
her
agree.
up pretty gently, and then it quickly deteriorated into
Yeah.
a very controlling scene. But
I guess it depends
Rhaenyra,
on the dream. You know,
that's
some dreams are I got on do not disturb.
that's
But yeah,
true. That's true.
she even at one point is like, "I'm sorry to disturb your rest" or whatever. It's very nice.
Yeah, Rhaenyra was laying it on thick in the beginning of this. We learned a couple things right away. We do confirm that Alicent was sent to Harrenhal, like we suspected at the end of last episode. We also confirmed that Helena does in fact have Dreamfire as her bonded dragon,
Yeah.
which we've been questioning since the beginning of this series, really, if Dreamfire was going to make an appearance. And those who aren't book readers, Helena, when she was younger, did ride Dreamfire. In the show, it seems like she never really fully bonded and rode Dreamfire, so there's a little bit of a difference there. But regardless, in her adult life, she didn't ride Dreamfire anymore because Blood and Cheese killed her 6-year-old son, and she was super depressed after it. So
Yeah.
small difference, but
Also, Dreamfire, for what it's worth, that clutch of eggs that was found at Harrenhal that Alice showed Aemond a few episodes ago, those are Dreamfire's eggs, and Dreamfire has long been rumored by the fandom to be the mother of Daenerys' three dragons.
mhm,
So big lore stuff right there.
there's some lore.
Rhaenyra
And
then
Rhaenyra's
super self-conscious. I don't like it. She's way too self-conscious. She's like fucking shaking Helena, who just woke up, and she's like, I know you're a dreamer. Tell me everything. What are Ormond's plans? What did you dream about? How are things over at Harrenhal? And Helena just woke up. You ever just wake up and someone's asking you a bunch of questions, just even about anything, and you're like, shut the fuck up for 5 minutes? Helena's getting that from Rhaenyra right now, and then Rhaenyra's like, do the gods favor me? Shut
yeah,
up.
Rhaenyra's not handling, well, we've covered this ad nauseum. She's not handling being on the throne well. She got cut by the Iron Throne. She's getting increasingly paranoid. But I think you see here a little bit of her trying to make up for her lack of an effective small council too. It's like she's just
Yeah.
grasping at straws, trying to figure out what should I do next? How is this war going?
Yeah, she's like me with anxiety, where you're the next day you're like, was that cool or was I annoying? And you're kind of like you're like texting people just trying to get the vibe. You're like, everyone had a pretty good
Hmm.
time last night, right? Everyone was having fun.
I didn't say anything outrageous last night, did
Yeah,
I?
right. Hey, everyone views me favorably, right? She's grasping for validation. Aemond is at Harrenhal and has a bit of a weird thing happen. Something not so cool. He has this sort of vision that Alicent is there. Alicent immediately starts getting in his britches and hops up on him. They have a bit of a sex scene, but then it's like a hallucination, and it's really Alice Rivers that he's having a sex scene with. And she's like, I think she says like, "I will bear your son," which Babe Ruth calling her shot. There's no guarantee that it would be a boy, first of all. But yeah, so very weird. A lot going on there. People were not pleased with that.
That was the opposite of the dream that Helena was having. Pretty calm environment for Helena, and then you jump over to Aemond and it's a mom-son sex scene. Pretty gross.
That's the kind of
But
dream you want to be woken up from. You want Rhaenyra shaking you so you wake up
that's
out of it.
true. Yeah, exactly. But I was curious if Alice, kind of put a spell on or like a binding or something where she looked like Alicent in that situation. I wonder if that was intentional by Alice.
You can't get going unless the mommy thing kind of you're insinuating. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. But then it was weird. She did that whole like thing to him. He freaks out. He leaves the bedchamber, and sure enough, Allison's there, and she's like, "Hey, Eamon, what's up?"
Yeah,
And he's
that
like,
timing's
"Oh yeah,
crazy. Talk about terrible timing.
yeah, not great." We get a quick cut from there. The Winter Wolves and Rivermen are marching toward Tumbleton. Kristen Cole's head is on Roddy the Ruin's spike, and he's leading the charge with Kristen Cole's dome piece. And this is just to let you know that they are a day's march from Tumbleton, and it's about to go down. I think Gwaine then in the next scene, even approaching Ormond, says that army, 20,000 strong, just crossed the Blackwater Rush, I think he said.
Yep, just crossed the Blackwater Rush, and that puts them max about 24 to 48 hours away. So they're it's happening, and Ormond seems impressingly cool about this news.
Yeah, Ormond is like, well, I have a piece on the board that's going to bring the queen to heel, and Gwaine is such a realist, and the everyone loves Gwaine. Gwaine, I think, has really taken the internet by storm as someone people really like. Which I wonder, man, if like Gwaine somehow were to grasp for power, if he led the Green Army as Rhaenyra slips into paranoia, how people's views of this Greens versus Blacks that would switch.
Well, I mean, I think after if Ormond were to go down and get clipped somehow, I think Darren would be the guy, and then Gawain would probably be his right hand, you know?
Two really likable guys.
Yeah.
Um, From there, Damon visits the Vale to discuss Rhaena with Jane Eyre. It's a weird scene for a couple of reasons. Whenever a scene in the first off, last episode we go to the Vale, there's a guy going through the moon door. This episode, there's like a grown woman sitting on her lap. Who is that? They don't
Yeah,
explain. What is
I,
that? What's going on
I
there?
mean, book readers probably loved that, and it's heavily alluded to that Jane Eyre's into women in the
Okay.
books, that she never married, that she preferred instead of courtiers favoring her hand, she preferred just ladies around the Erie. So, yeah, I think it was Condell's way of kind of sliding that in from the
Yeah,
books.
I wouldn't say I favor my hand, but sometimes you got to make do. Bayla, but the thing that's the thing that's weird about that scene is she says something to Damon, like you try to cage a dragon rider, and I'm like, weren't you just slapping her around last episode?
I mean, I think Damon's reckoning with a lot of poor absentee fatherhood right now, so he's just kind of just making excuses left and right for Reina.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Bayla and Adam have a quick chat about his Valerian-ness. They don't discuss the fact that her and Alan made out. Uh,
1 second, bud. You
no.
forgot something that every book reader would shoot me in the leg if I didn't
Oh,
bring this
you
up.
got yes. Go. I already know.
Jane did mention, a wild girl, quote unquote, living amongst nettles and sheep. pretty sure that's a direct quote from Fire and Blood about Nettles and how she got that nickname. So this is a tie-in to what we kind of suspected, but Reina is essentially Nettles. They're the same thing, and that's the take that the show's portraying. And again, we've talked about this a lot. The books are written, years later by someone who wasn't at the events, and just kind of reading from secondhand accounts. And so it's very likely that this is actually how it played out. And as show watchers, we're expected to believe that this is how it went.
I got a lot of beef with some of the changes they've made, specifically Allison centric, but this one I like. I like this one. It's D&D
Agreed.
cutting Lady Stoneheart. It just wouldn't have worked. You know what I mean? That would not have played in the show. There's certain cuts and adaptations that I think work really well. D&D were notoriously great at that, especially early on, before they outpaced the books. Condell has had less
Mhm.
success, but this was a good one.
Yeah, this was an unexpected but welcome change, in my opinion. I don't even know necessarily that it was truly a cut. I think the combination of the characters makes sense from when you're reading the books, they're really talking about like a suspected intimate relationship between Nettles and Damon. And then, they go off eventually and then
Right.
return and so forth. So they were never like caught in chambers with one another or anything like that. So this is a believable and I think a cool kind of adaptation, if you will. But yeah, unexpected, but welcome change.
Yeah, very cool angle. Then we go to that Bela and Adam Singh talking about, he's like, hey, putting a good word with your dad, make me a Valerian. And then they see Sheep Stealer. And they're like, holy shit, he's got a rider. Um,
Yeah. And Bela also kind of found out that Adam had a crush on her, but she thought that Adam was talking about Alan and
yeah,
kind of
very
like had a
weird.
little moment that it was like, oh shit, you're hooking up with my brother.
Yeah, thank God Sheep Stealer showed up just to cut that tension, you know?
Yeah.
Um, Allison chats with Eamon a little bit. Eamon's still kind of tweaking. He like grabs her and like looks at her hair, and I think he's just trying to make sure that she's real and not like a vision. And then she introduces Aemon to her protector, who is Sir Adrian. And of course, this is the man that's supposed to kill Aemon. And we all saw this coming a mile away. Aemon kills him right away. And he's just like, sorry, mother, can't take any chances.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the whole it's funny that the Harrenhal scenes in this season are very similar in likability to the scenes of last season.
Yeah.
Like the storyline is just kind of like it's just very meh. It's very expected, it's very predictable, but it's also just, in my opinion, unnecessary.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's funny that those kind of mirror each other from Damon's Harrenhal scenes in season two to the Aemon's in season three.
Yeah, and then you throw in the mix of the show just genuinely not knowing what to do with Allison at this point in time. It's like a fun little soup of mediocrity. Um, Orman hosts Corlys to dinner and kind of discusses Corlys's allegiances and then also dunks on like Targaryens for like 5 minutes. And like Corlys is like, buddy, I'm from Valeria. Like my wife was like, oh, everyone I know is Targaryen. But
Hmm.
Orman's trying to like, Corlys is like, are you going to kill me? And, Orman's like, on the contrary, I respect you. Like, you're awesome. Also, let me cut off that fingy.
Yeah, you see the difference in the scene later. Orman's trying to kind of do his puppeteering with Ulf in the scene now where he's trying to do the same thing with Corlys. And Corlys is just a way smarter, way more experienced, way more cunning individual, and he's not going to fall for that little shit. Even so, I mean, he did it with Orman did it with Darren too, right? So
Oh,
you
yeah.
see kind of how elevated Corlys is above these other players in the game.
House Hightower loves to try to gaslight. It's one of their all-time moves, man. Otto set the stage for that. Gwen and Darren have a quick discussion after that, and basically just discussing how screwed they are. And Darren's like, "Well, I'm now the face of how screwed we are because he's styling me the king."
Hmm. Yeah, maybe a preview of what we were talking about earlier. If Darren and Gawain end up somehow in control here, that'd be pretty
Yeah,
cool.
and that again, I feel like, especially for the TV show fans who aren't maybe so privy to the books, people I've talked to have said they're like Wayne and Darren are super likable. Like that would make things real more gray as opposed to the black and white good guy, bad guy. We get a small
Hmm.
council meeting. A lot of sort of small things happen at first. Torrin Manderley is very clear to the fact that he's a scapegoat. My Syria does like the side eye, like whose idea was that? Um, Rhaenyra sends Sabbath of Prey to claim Harrenhal, which is going to be interesting because we know Aemond is there. So I assume next episode they'll have a reckoning. and Adam and Bela barge in and say Sheep Stealer has a rider. So a lot happening.
A lot happening. Torrin Manderley is hilarious. He just expects people to really care about his house getting graffitied and pooped on when there's when there's actual shit happening. Rhaenyra's just like, yeah, whatever. Take
Yeah.
Harrenhal. I'm tired of hearing about it to Lady Frey, who was ecstatic about it. But yeah, now we got another dragon on the scene. Sheep Stealer's back.
Yeah, and so then they go from that scene to the hallway, and Myceria is immediately spinning her web at Rhaenyra to get again this weird angle with Daemon. Myceria is becoming she's overstaying her welcome with me.
Yeah, and she lays her hands on the queen. I
She
mean,
does, and
she
later she lays a lot more on her.
yes, yes, Masseria, like it's almost like she cares more about driving a wedge between Damon and Rhaenyra than she does about her actual job of being mistress of whispers. She hasn't delivered any whispers. She hasn't founded any conspiracies or
Nothing.
stopped the rebellions in the streets or the murders in the streets that are happening at King's Landing. So, but she is talking about the fake head that Damon intentionally did. And oh my gosh, like imagine what else he could do. And he lies
Yeah.
all the time.
She's like, he's missing
Yeah,
even now. And, what is he friends with this rider? Did he make an allegiance? And it's like, all Myceria has suggested is like, let's spend money on the small folk, which technically isn't even her job as Master of Whispers. Where's
mhm.
Aegon? Like, Rhaenyra said at one point, let's pretend Aegon's dead, which is her acknowledging that they are pretty sure he's alive. Where's Aegon? Where's Vagar? What's Ormond up to? That's what Myceria is supposed to be figuring out. Who are all these
Yep.
guys in King's Landing killing people? And Myceria is like, man, your husband sucks. Your husband sucks. Like, this isn't Sex in the City.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, it makes sense why her nickname's the White Worm. She's just constantly trying to influence Rhaenyra's decisions and doesn't really care about her actual job.
Yeah, no, for sure. From there, Larys, Aegon, and Tyland are doing a little bit of traveling. They hear word that Lord Mooten has rounded up his army. At this point, they're not really sure why. They just know that they're marching toward them, and it becomes clear it's because the word from Corlys reached King's Landing that Tywin Lannister is alive and he's in that area, so they're looking for Tywin Lannister because they need their gold.
They're looking for that Queen's Gold, who, if you all recall, the Lannisters, in conjunction with Otto Hightower, removed the entire crown's treasury and split it between Lannisport and I think Bravos maybe, and then not the Hightower, Old Town.
Yeah.
So that's why they're kind of on that tail. Aegon actually he kind of has like a redeeming moment a little bit. He's like, fuck this. I'm not going to keep running. I'm going to stand on business here. I am
Yeah.
a king. If we're going to die, we're going to go out in glory.
Yeah, and he's like, we'll just keep going toward the Mutant Army, and Laris and Tylen are like, okay. And at this point, all three are keeping the charge going. Alicent has a lovely dinner with her son and his new girlfriend. Um, Alicent has dinner with Aemon and Alice at Harrenhal. It's like weird. The vibes are off. Alicent is like, how did you two meet? And Aemon's like, she's a maester of sorts. She kind of patched me up a little bit. And Alicent was like, for who? And Alice is like, I do my own thing, all right? And Aemon suggests making Harrenhal like his seat, raising his own throne, and yeah,
Yeah, I kind of hated this scene. I think I'm like over that storyline because I just didn't even make notes about that scene in here.
yeah. But the big takeaway is Alice pulls Aemon aside and is like, Alicent is trying to kill you. There's a fog over her because she's one of those girls that's into crystals, and just kind of understands vibes. Um,
Hmm.
and from there, Alicent goes outside to grab Sir Adrian's knife. As she grabs it, she realizes, like, I can't fucking, what am I gonna do? Like I can't stab Aemon. Then she looks and sees the caterpillars that like Helena was messing with a few episodes ago. And she's like, oh yeah, those caterpillars I think are poisonous. Is that what it was? That was what I viewed it
Um,
as.
so it was I think it was more of the flowers on
Oh,
there.
okay.
Or maybe a mix of the two. You maybe mix them together, but I took away the flowers. Um, and that kind of makes it poison.
Yeah, she's making up a little poison sippy sip for Aemond. Laegon and Tylan are still traveling, and they learn how close they are to the army. And Aegon stands on business, like I'm not going to run. Tyland is like, I'm staying with you, and then Laris is like, I'm gonna head out.
So
Laris is
we
like, I'm gonna
so,
take off. I don't know.
I went from the course of 3 episodes to having a Legon, which I really loved, to a Legonister, which I kind of loved. Didn't love as much as Legon, but now
No.
I just have a Agonister.
I like Aegon. They've been great together.
But honestly, this is the most loyal Lannister I think I've seen throughout the entire Game of Thrones,
100%.
House of the Dragon, and Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Shout
He's
out to Tywin Lannister. Say what you want about him, but the dude's loyal. He does what he says he's gonna do, and
yeah.
he stands with his king.
Laris suggested to him at one point, he's like, well, they're looking for you, so why don't you like lead them? Why don't you just go turn yourself in and we'll go past him? And Aegon's like, don't make him do that. But Aegon even did give Laris an out. He's like, let him go. Like
Mhm.
Aegon, I think for once in his life is like, I don't even think he views Laris fleeing as like no loyalty. I think he's like, I get it. I get it. Go live. Like it's fine. Tylen, you want to go down with the ship? Let's do this. And they keep walking toward the Mutant Men because Aegon says he's like, my goal isn't to die in obscurity; it's to die with my dragon. He's dead in these woods. I'll be dead in these woods.
The only honorable thing Aegon's done all season.
Yeah, but he's getting there. He's building up a rapport.
Hmm.
Damon confronts Rhaena and Sheepstealer on Caraxes. He's like, "Yo, you're making a lot of noise. I need you to keep your head down." And then fucking Rhaenyra shows up on Cyrax. Adam of Hull on Sea Smoke. We got 4 dragons. We got 4 dragon riders. They hop off their dragons, and Rhaenyra's like, "Go catch whoever that little guy is running away." And Adam goes after her, and then she's confronting Damon, like, "What are you doing here?" Adam comes back with Rhaena over his shoulder. Rhaenyra's like, "What the hell?" The dragons start fighting. It's pandemonium.
Yeah, this was a very, very, very cool scene that I was not expecting that I would like. When it kind of started off and Damon and Caraxes pull like a pit maneuver on Sheepstealer and Reyna to get them down.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, that's like an interesting
yeah.
way that you just kind of knock her down that way.
They live
But
PD'd him. They live PD'd him. They're like,
they live
we're going to
feed.
Damon Land. We're going to Damon Targaryen, who's now going to do a pit move on this perp."
And no, the scene just got better from there. I do love the soft side of Damon and him, truly caring about Reyna's outcome. And he talks about, his upbringing and it wasn't always easy for him and he wasn't always a dragon rider. And Rhaenyra coming in, guns blazing, and just like just I feel like she's perpetually confused of what's happening, like in every scene.
It's almost like your
Um,
Mistress of Whispers is providing zero information at any point.
Yeah. The dragons start going at it. Cyrax kind of gets fucked up a little bit by Sheepstealer.
Sheep Stealer, I'm told, is pretty big and strong.
Yeah,
Like they,
yeah.
yeah. So it took 3 dragons to kind of give Sheep Stealer the sauce back.
And you see, when Sea Smoke came in, the tide started to change a little bit, but Sheepstealer was still keeping up. And then Caraxes comes in, who, battle hardened, fought on the Stepstones, fought in this war in the Dance of the Dragon. So Caraxes pretty much came in and put that shit down.
Yeah,
And then Daemon actually commanded Caraxes to kill Sheepstealer. Um, and then Sheepstealer kind of gets out of there anyways. But I thought it was interesting that Damon actually gave the command to do it.
yeah. So and then Sheep Stealer like limps off, like not dead, but they're like, oh, it's not dead. It's limping off. You gotta show it on screen or else I'm not gonna buy it.
Mhm.
And then Rhaenyra throws Rhaena on the back of Cyrax and is like, let's go. And Rhaena's like, Sheep Stealer. And it's like, you just abandoned your dragon. You could have stayed. You could have put up a fight and you didn't. And they get
I
back.
feel like,
Go ahead.
well, I feel like Reyna's motivation was to make amends with Rhaenyra and
True.
kind of rejoin the family. So maybe part of her expected some of that and was cool with leaving Sheepstealer if that happened. But turns
Yeah.
out that doesn't happen.
I don't think she wanted Sheep Stealer to die though and get pieced
Yeah,
up.
true.
And
Yeah.
then when Rhaenyra gets back, she's like, lock her somewhere. I don't wish to see her. My Syria hosts Madame Sylvie and the brothel lady in like the throne room just as a
Yeah.
clout grab, and like the brothel lady sees through it. And it's like this is a scene that would be great, like if it wasn't in the show, and instead we were with Roddy and Oscar and Black Alley, and their characters were being developed. Like it was cool. She was like, you don't even care about the small folk, you care about yourself and climbing this ladder. She said something like, to them you'll always be a whore, like once a whore always a whore, and I wonder if that impacts the future scene where my Syria is like, I can use my body to get what I want. I was like, is this the message they're trying to put in this show? Does Condell know what message he's putting in the show? Because even if that's
Yeah,
not the message, that's what people are going to associate it as.
yeah. I just this just brings to the larger question of what is Maseria's storyline? You know, I feel like it was such an interesting character in the books, and you're always like, oh, like how much is she involved in? How much did she know about this assassination? How much big of a role did she play in the murders in King's Landing, or some of the different things that ultimately led to a lot bigger consequences? But the way that she's being portrayed here, she hasn't been effective in anything except what we just talked about, driving a wedge between Rhaenyra and Daemon.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of how to word this in my head because I really want to say it in a respectful way of at least how I mean it. But in the books, Myceria and Alicent and Rhaenyra, I think, are very strong movers of the story and people who are they're your more than Aemond and Aegon and Daemon. You're like, man, these three people are kicking ass. And in the show, I think in like some weird attempt to be even more favorable toward them, they've kind of affected that in a negative, and they've made three really strong women look weaker than they should have. Am I
Yeah.
crazy for saying that, or am I kind of? I mean, Alicent in the books is fucking awesome. Rhaenyra is not cruel, but she's willing to get her hands dirty, and it enamors people toward her. And Myceria has webs all over the place in games that she's playing, and it's like in the show, I don't know what they're doing with these characters. Like they could be so much better, and that's we talked about this will always be House of the Dragon's issue. It could end. It's awesome. It's fun, but it's what could have been.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, very well said. Miss Area in the books is almost more similar to how Ormond's being portrayed in, setting up all these murders and riots and betrayals and things like that. A much, much, much more interesting character
Yeah,
than they just relabeled her as a whore in this episode.
a hundred
So I mean
percent.
I think it was a mishandling of the character for sure.
It's so unfortunate that that's what they did. And like Allison's, the ball's dropped. And I think in Rhaenyra's case, we kind of forgive it because Emma's performance is insanely, like Emma is just a rock star, as are these actors too. I mean, my serious accent tries, I don't understand why they did that, but it is what it is. Next scene at Harrenhal, Allison gives Aemond a poison drink. Aemon grabs it from her. He's like, Alice doesn't trust you. Sip, 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 sip. Why doesn't she trust you? Sip, 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 sip. She said there's a dark cloud over you. Sip, sip. And it's like, Aemond, you fucking fool.
I mean, he's got the mommy issues. He wants to trust mommy no matter what.
That's true. That's a good point. Damon tries to apologize to Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra's not having it. Like she kind of is, kind of isn't. It's weird. Her bed maiden is there, and she's like, "You stay in the room. It's fine. Listen to this." And like, she shouldn't be there listening to that. But yeah, it's a very weird scene where Damon is like, "I was trying to have my cake and eat it too," and he said, "I fucked up." Like Damon was super open. He's like, "I wanted to be a good dad for once in my life." And what betrayal does it actually do to you? Like what? I wanted to do one lie from one of my kids that I've completely neglected.
Yeah, it's very known, I think, that Damon doesn't handle like emotional or proactively open situations. He lets things like build up and then kind of deals with the repercussions after.
Yeah.
And this is one that probably should have been a private conversation between him and Rhaenyra at Dragonstone shortly after Jace's death. Like, hey, or I guess maybe he didn't know at that point. So regardless, it should have been a
Yeah.
private conversation between Rhaenyra and Daemon once he found out that Rhaena was Sheep Stealer's rider.
He's like, listen, about Luke. And Rhaenyra's like, you mean Jace? And he's like, yeah. Like the dragon that did it, my daughter is in charge of. You're right. He should have just told her. He should have been way honest about it. But like you said, he doesn't handle stuff well. Quick scene from there where Rhaena's in her chambers that she's sort of like kind of a semi-prisoner in. Bela walks in, immediately forgives her. I think that was just to show Bela has a big heart. Maybe she wasn't that into Jace because there seems to be very little Jace mourning going on at this point in time.
You
Alan
know
in the
what's interesting with everyone's reactions to finding out that Rhaena was on Sheep Stealer? It turns out probably the best course of action for Rhaena would have been to just be like, "Hey, I'll send a Raven to King's Landing and be like, "Hey, listen, I got this dragon. He was a little overzealous at the Battle of the Gullet, but we can add another dragon to our forces. One for one. Come on, let's make this
Yeah.
happen."
Also, the Triarchy killed Jace. I didn't kill Jace.
Yeah,
He got snared earlier too. He was flying low to
yeah.
begin with, all right? He was already into it. He liked scraping the water. He got snared twice. And then technically he lived after the snaring. It was the arrows that killed him. She didn't loose the arrows. The Triarchy did. Like, come on. Just looking, it's because she can't put a face on the Triarchy, so she's putting it on Reyna, you know?
Yeah,
From
yeah.
there, Alan receives a little gift, and the gift is Corliss's finger. So now they know Ormond has him. They did not, I should say, reiterate, we didn't cover this earlier in the episode. They didn't know Corliss was taken prisoner. In fact, in that small council meeting earlier, Alan was like, Corliss be on his way soon with some men.
Yeah, that's tough to receive that little gift box from Ormond.
What if he just didn't get it? And he's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
It got lost in UPS.
Yeah, he's like, what? I don't even know what is this? Um, From there, Aemon sort of stumbles into Alice's chambers, all sauced up from that poison drink. He collapses. Alice goes, idiot. And she's gonna probably save him for the second time. This whole this whole episode was so stupid with for the Harrenhal stuff. Allison then flees Harrenhal, and I assume we'll be back in King's Landing next week. And I bet she'll be like, killed him, nailed it,
If
he's dead, forget about him.
if Alicent makes it back to King's Landing by herself on the King's Road during this war,
She's she's
we're
already
we're gonna
there.
just crumple that whole storyline and throw it in the trash and burn
She's already there. I guarantee you it'll open with her riding into King's Landing, like, with like a fucking hoagie in her hand. Like, I stopped at Hot Pies Inn. Um,
it.
Helena has a dream. She dreams of giving birth to a child, and the child is immediately handed over to Rhaenyra's men. She dreams of being on Dreamfire and in the dragon pit, burning all these people running at them. And of course, she dreams of winter because got to
Dreams of
remind you the
winter.
White Walkers are a thing.
She
Um,
got she got she was there was a little happy part where she was feeding some chickens with her two
yeah,
sons.
with their children. That was nice. Helena deserves better. The poor woman has been through it all, forced to
And
marry.
that gray mare was in the background again, so it was interesting to see that come back up from the
Yeah,
beginning to the end of the episode. I wonder, I mean, isn't in, I don't know, religion or I don't know, lore in general, like gray mares are pestilence or like death or something?
it's a white one, a white
Oh, white.
horse.
Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
a
Okay,
pale horse, because that's what Arya rides, the pale horse in that one
got
scene
it.
in season
Okay.
eight. The pale horse is pestilence. Um, I think the gray mare is just IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. That's what they say. Um, Right. So, but it was nice to see Dreamfire. Even if it was in a vision, it was cool to see Dreamfire. The fans have been asking for it. I specifically asked for it, so it was nice to see Dreamfire.
Her dreams come true.
Her dreams do come true. There's a lot of stuff there, guys. Try to see. Obviously, Winter, we know what that is. There's no spoiler alert there. You've seen Game of Thrones. The other stuff, who knows? Take it for what you think it is. Rhaenyra goes to Myceria because she's just at her wit's end. She kind of confronts Myceria about tearing them apart, what have you, and just an insane amount of validation seeking from Rhaenyra. Again, the anxiety version of Rhaenyra that's literally me after a couple of beers, where I'm like, "You guys enjoy me as a person, right? You guys think I'm all right?" She's doing that, and it's weird. And then her and Myceria start hooking up. Rhaenyra's like staring like at her, like I don't. I'm not even trying to be funny. It's just a very oddly filmed scene where she's like Myceria's standing next to her, and like if someone's standing next, imagine someone standing next to me, like their eyes wouldn't be here, and Rhaenyra's like, like
Staring into her stomach.
staring right into who knows what. But it's just an odd scene. I have no. I like. I mean, they like each other. Clearly, they've kissed in the past. I'm at least glad they brought some version of that up again because it wouldn't have made sense if they hadn't. But the
Do
fucking
you think so? Remember from season two when they did Smooch, apparently that wasn't written into the script. Emma had just kind of just done that in the moment. So do you think they posthumously almost wrote that in,
Yeah,
or
I guarantee it. They probably had to. They probably felt like, oh, well, this is kind of, yeah, let's go this route. I bet. I don't know. I'd have to find out from Condell himself. You'd have to ask him, but I would assume so. If that part wasn't in it, then this would have been an insane escalation to go to this. Um, but
I
the
mean, you can't you can't count it out.
you can't count, dude. If is Condell, he's open as soon as he steps foot in the gym. All right, Condell is ripping anything, the most random stuff every
Oh my
single
gosh.
episode, dude. Anytime
Dude,
that guy walks.
for those not watching the YouTube video, I almost just spit out my Gatorade that I'm drinking.
Bad timing, bad timing. But yeah, he if he sees an opportunity to write something fucking goofy, he's gonna do it. Um, that scene, I have no issue with them making out and all that stuff, and like my Syria gets on top of Rhaenyra. It's very intimate. I don't like Rhaenyra again seeking the level of validation that she is.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm a good queen. The gods want me to be queen. And it's like, my Syria clearly doesn't know fucking shit. So why are you asking her? She hasn't provided an ounce of important information this entire time, and she's supposed to be the Varys of the situation. Varys,
Yeah.
the you cannot. If anyone ever compares in the show canon my Syria to Varys, I'm walking out of the room.
It's
That man,
not even that it's not even close. It's not even
Varys was
close.
all over the place, baby, playing all sorts of games.
He knew so much that he had to pretend that he didn't know some shit because he couldn't let everyone know what he knew. Masseria pretends that she knows stuff that she doesn't know.
Yeah.
But
There's a great real quick, and then I'm sorry, I'll give it right back to you when they're in the Battle of the Blackwater, Davos is talking to his son Mathos, and Mathos is like, maybe we've taken them by surprise, and Davos goes, Lord Varys knows what you had for breakfast 3 days ago. There are no surprises here. It's a great line. But go ahead.
that's a perfect synopsis of Varys. Just agree with your point on Rhaenyra and how much they've taken away from her. In season one, she was like a rebellious girl. She was headstrong.
Awesome.
She was, running off into the streets with Daemon, doing stuff she wasn't supposed to do. She was, taking advantage of Kristen Cole. She wasn't into like the traditional male-female relationships. So like I just to see her get to this point where she's seeking validation from everyone from the beginning of this episode where she's like, what the heck's going on with you know the dreams and the war efforts and how am I a good queen to now kind of wrapping up the episode and she's asking essentially for affirmation on the same issues from Masseria who hasn't done anything for her. It's just another mishandling of an otherwise great character that
Yeah.
from reading about was someone that I was really excited to see and now she's kind of meh.
And does Myceria like her, or is she taking Madame Sylvie's advice and using her body to ingratiate herself closer to the queen? And people online were freaking out because I guess Condell had said one of the main drivers behind nixing the Nettles and making it the way they did was he also didn't want infidelity to be a thing between Daemon and Rhaenyra. Well, this is infidelity, is it not? So the guy, yeah, I don't know, man. I do think Miguel Sapochnik getting axed from this show is a noticeably felt absence. At the end of season one, when Rhaenyra is told Luke dies, she turns around and there's tears in her eyes, but there's a real fire and an anger. And all of
Yeah,
season two, there was no, I don't know. Yeah, we can circle this wagon all day long, but it's just the
a
next
lot
scene I
left
want
on
to
the table.
the next scene I want to talk about because I think it was the highlight of the episode. Aegon and Tylan are confronted by Mutin's men. Tylan goes, "Are we fleeing? What are we doing?" And Aegon goes, "No, we'll go down with the ship. It's fine." They're like, "Oh, look, it's Tylan Lannister," and Aegon's like, "Man, everyone thinks Aemon killed me. I'm not going to be a footnote in history." And he says, "Hear me, behold me now. I am Aegon Targaryen, the sixth anointed king of the seven, Viserys' true-born heir." And the Mutins are like, "What the fuck? It's him." And as he's saying this, the horses are kind of, neighing and stuff because behind him, Sunfire is alive and well, and it's such a great scene. I loved this scene. I think it stole the episode. He turns to Sunfire and he goes, "Sunfire," and he turns back and he goes, "Dracarys," and just fucking torches man.
Now, as much as I hate the Greens, this was an amazing scene, and Aegon is a welcome addition back to the game. Sunfire as we suspected, is still alive, and apparently not that wounded, or not wounded enough that he's lost ability to shoot fire out of his mouth. So he's still very much a dragon that's capable. And yeah, Sunfire and Aegon are back.
Has half a face kind of like Aegon, so they kind of fit each other well. Sunfire's face is all torched up too, which was funny. I was like, oh, they mirror each other. They both look like Two-Face from Batman. That's cool. And then the
They're
episode
matching.
ends. They're matching.
Well, little lore thing from the books here. So another interesting angle that they took, Sunfire in the books was laying like he was similarly, but he was still able to move his neck and kind of upper body. So people would come, like knights would come, because there would be a big bounty to be able to kill Sunfire. And a lot of people, I think thousands, if I remember in the book correctly, were killed trying to finish off Sunfire on the ground outside of Rook's Rest, and this Lord Mooten was one of them, and that host that he had. So it
Love
was
it.
a cool way to tie it back in that Lord Mooten died trying to kill Sunfire.
Yeah, and they had to, it's a show. You have to create a level of suspense. Sunfire's dead, the big reveal, Sunfire's alive. The episode ends on a pretty electric scene. Ulf is drinking some ale on his little hill above Tumbleton where him and Hugh have been hanging out. And he kind of says something about, pretty good ale. And you think he's drinking with Hugh, hanging out, and it cuts. He's having a couple of brewskis with Ormond Hightower. And from the sounds of their conversation, this is not the first time that they've talked. They have talked before. Um,
Yep.
Ormond says to him, "It's like I've gotten word that Damon was slapping you around in the streets." Ulf says something about like a castle that he would want that kind of is like mid, and Ormond's like, "My boy, what about Driftmark? Dream bigger, you know?"
Ormond is playing Ulf like a fool. There's no way that a Hightower would give Driftmark to a no-name, low-born person like Ulf. So it's a short game that Ormond's playing, and I don't know. Obviously, this still plays into Ormond's comfort with the whole fact that 20,000 Winter Wolves and Rivermen are 24 hours away from Tumbleton. It's a false. It's he's doing it to get off on his side now, and we'll see how that goes
Hey
moving
man,
forward.
desperate times calls for desperate measures.
Yeah, 100%. I
He
mean,
needs
I'll
more
tell you
dragons.
what, it's not hard to beat the offers from Rhaenyra and Damon's camp of being cut off from your boys, not being able to go to the tavern anymore,
Getting
no
slapped
more
around.
beers, no more whoring, all that stuff that Ulf loves, all gone. So yeah, pretty easy to win over to the green side.
So as things stand at the end of this episode, Ulf obviously says something at the end about that would make us think that he is maybe more pro Ormond at this point than Rhaenyra. Maybe. We will see next week, I'm sure. So if that's Silverwing and Tessarion and the Green Army, you got the Black's Army with the Winter Wolves and the Riverlands and Hugh with Vermithor, and it looks like at the very least Daemon and Caraxes will also be there, which is a departure from the books. You got Corlys inside Tumbleton, so they're not. Are they going to burn it with him there? Does Adam show up? There's a lot of things out there for next week, and we're 5 days, 6 days away. I can't wait. I'm so excited. But that was
Yeah, we'll
season
have some. It'll be interesting to see how next week goes because the Adam and Corliss storyline's a lot different from how it was in the books. So
very.
we could have some more thoughts to share after next episode.
Yep, and that was season 3, episode 7, The Dragon in Winter. And yeah, I don't know why they called it that. I think just because of White Walkers. But before we get into the ratings and all the segments, let's have a quick discussion, quick recap, the vibe check. Reddit and social media was aflame this week with fury and anger because they felt like it's such a departure from the books. And guys, at this point, if you're still comparing it to the books, you've already lost. You've lost the plot. It is so different. You have to view it in a different lens. And you're allowed to dislike it
Mhm.
even if you are viewing it as a show. I would never judge anyone for that because believe me, it has its faults. But uh, we're not watching Citizen Kane here, number one. Like even Game of Thrones at its best, it's still you're still kind of in the, you're a little in the fantasy world a little bit. Um,
Mhm.
and I think we have to accept the fact that it is a different canon and that it's spectacle, and you just can't compare the two anymore. I think what our podcast does really well is reference like, hey, this is what would have happened. But
Yeah.
just because it didn't happen that way, Chris isn't here pounding the table screaming about things. Now, there are things that they have adapted way wrong, which we're 100% going to address. But when you go into the episode angry because of things you read on Reddit about leaks for this scene and that scene, like if you're going into the episode angry, you're going to hate it. If you go see a movie angry, you're going to hate it. Accept it as this is a bit of fun time in Westeros, and maybe you'll enjoy it a little bit more.
You're spot on. We will continue to call out the differences between the books and the show because we are a Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, Night of the Seven Kingdoms podcast, and that's what we're here to do to alert listeners or educate listeners on the differences without you having to go read, thousands and thousands of pages. That's what we do. We're still watching and enjoying the content because it is entertaining, it's fun, it's exciting. Even when you look at Allison and her storyline, it's kind of fun to just bash on it, right? Like it's, it is somewhat entertaining. You're like, what the hell is she up to now? How did she get there? So it's that stuff. You can't take it too seriously. Um, I will say the biggest things that I'm truly disappointed in is just how weak they've portrayed Rhaenyra, Alicent, Mysaria.
And female characters too in a show that is meant to, I think, uplift female characters in the lore of like there were some real badasses at this time, and I think they could have portrayed them way better. But I want to say, and I want to say this to everybody, and specifically people online who do not listen to this podcast, our friends mostly listen to it, but to them as well. Never blame the actors. Because let me tell you something, Olivia Cooke is a hell of an actor in her own right. We talk about Emma all the time. This whole cast is fucking bringing it, dude. Ewan Mitchell is Aemond. Tom Glencarny is Aegon. Steve Toussaint is Corlys. These people are killing it. Every single one
Yeah.
of them, week in and week out. And Olivia Cooke,
Fabian.
oh, dude, Fabian Frankel, my sweet Kristen Cole. Um, Olivia Cooke does not write Allison's story. She's an actor who much like us probably read it and went, okay, but she's an actor who gives a hell of a performance, as does Aemond, as does Aegon, as does Alan and Adam and Bela and all these characters and Rhaena. They have no say over the story. And the thing that this show will never fail, music, acting, the VFX, they kill it, man. They kill it. The writing will always be the thing that's the issue.
And if you're looking at it from just the show's perspective, it's enjoyable, it's entertaining. It's really not that big of an issue unless you're, really nitpicking it. I think, you look at our ratings over the past 3 seasons, the majority of them are probably over eights, definitely over 7.5s. We had some low ones last season, but I think
We're
everyone
not
kind
afraid to
of
go hard. We're not
agreed
afraid
on
to
a
be
little bit of
honest.
those, right?
Yeah.
So still enjoy the ride. People are taking it too seriously. Stay off Reddit, and just enjoy the entertainment.
Yeah, and also enjoy the podcast. This is an excuse to talk
Yeah.
about Westeros with buddies. Life is hard, man. We need our little escapes. That being said, Chris, what would you rate this episode?
I have an 8.5 on this one. I liked the Nettles inclusion. I thought that was a cool way to bring that into the show. I liked seeing the family man that is Daemon Targaryen. I I'm a book truther, so I like Jane Eyre being into women. I thought that was a cool inclusion there. Ormond's plan, we're starting to see him. He's like an evil Otto. He's an evil Otto. I love
He's
that.
Jamie Norton has done a great job as Ormond. Another shout out to an actor. Sorry, go ahead.
He does. You'll talk about this ad nauseum, I'm sure, in like every single segment. But Sunfire and Aegon was cool to see them come back. And then I did like for the record, if Alicent and the Harrenhal storyline weren't in this episode, it'd probably be rated a 9. And then we talked about Mysaria and Rhaenyra as well. So 8.5 for me.
Very similar to the back in the day, the no shade curve. There's the Allison doing dumb shit curve, and that's a downward curve. That's a downward curve. Mine was an 8. I gave it an 8. I really liked it. I just had fun watching this episode of television. The Allison stuff is insane. And as it's happening, I'm like, my rating is going down, but I'm like having fun. You know what I mean? Like you
Yep.
said, you're kind of
Mhm.
like, this is so. When she grabbed the dagger, I was like, what the? Don't even. What are you? Aemond is gonna slice through you like sheet cake. Cut it out. But
Or
you're right.
even when she like obviously like so obviously poisoned Aemond, like walks in with 2 cups.
Yeah. She's like, drink,
just
drink.
like ready to go.
Yeah, and Eamon dropping the line, Alice doesn't trust you, and he's just like chugging it back. I did like Family Man Damon. When you said Family Man Damon, I thought of like him in Family Matters, like he's the Officer Winslow and Raina's the Urkel, and she's like, "Did I do that?" And the do that is accidentally get Jace murdered. So I love that angle as well. Stop drinking when I'm talking. You're gonna
I got
choke.
it. Yeah, I got to.
Is that how I want this podcast to end? Is virtual Heimlich maneuver here. Best line, Yas Queen. I'll go first. So I'll start with my Yas Queen, and the Yas Queen is the sort of the I remembered this time. The Yas Queen is sort of the spiciest line of the episode, maybe a burn. And my Yas Queen, and I don't have specific. It's Ormond's entire speech about how Targaryens are like savages to Corlys,
Mm,
because Corlys is
mm,
like, yeah, that's like 95% of my family, buddy. Like, reel it in. I'm like, you're trying to win him to your cause, Ormond. Relax. Um,
mhm.
and my best line is Rhaenyra to my Syria. Do you think I am worthy? Now, I hated it because it's her seeking validation, but as a Green supporter, I loved it because Aegon wasn't seeking no validation this episode.
Wow, that's true. Aegon has come to terms with the fact that he's a bad person, and he's kind of turning that narrative. Rhaenyra could learn something from Aegon there.
Turn that frown
Crazy.
upside down.
Never thought I would say that. So I'll start with my yes queen this time since you did as well. Mine was from Alice Rivers to Aemon Targaryen. Right after he got poisoned by Alicent and he kind of stumbles into Alice's chambers and she just goes, idiot.
It was very silly.
She's just
Alice.
slightly bothered.
Alice had a good episode.
She did.
You
She
know what I'm
did.
saying? Yeah, but you know what I'm saying though.
My
Best
best
line.
line. I wasn't drinking Gatorade that time. I didn't
Yeah,
choke.
no, you're good.
My best line was and I like this scene in general in the very beginning of the episode, Helena and Rhaenyra being very honest with one another. And Helena is talking about how dragons corrupt people. And Rhaenyra was like, no, they give them power. And Helena goes, you have many dragons. Has it not altered you? And Rhaenyra kind of gets her for a second.
That was a great line. Oh my God, I forgot about that line. I loved that line. Yeah, that was a great one. So the next segment, hottest moment. This one can be one of two things. It's really open to personal interpretation, and either one is allowed. Either just like hottest, like man, that's hot, or hottest, like just brought the most heat. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll lead us off with
Go
my
lead.
hottest moment. Mine was the family gathering with Sheep Stealer and Reyna sitting at the head of the table. It ended up being more like Sheep Stealer was initiated into the Dragon Gang, and they all kind of surrounded him and just beat the crap out of him. But he got out of there, and he's probably going to be stronger leaving. So that was my hottest moment.
Builds character. Yeah, no, my hottest moment. Everyone's thinking it. I'm just gonna say it was Rhaenyra and Mysaria. No, I'm kidding. It was Aegon Targaryen. Sunfire's alive. He was ready to go down with the ship. Completely flipped it around 180. Sunfire torched the mutants. He's back. That being said, though, 1B was Rhaenyra and Mysaria. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was a good scene. It was good scene.
I
Um,
can't argue with Aegon and Sunfire being back. That one, as much as I hate the Greens, amazing scene.
we'll see. Maybe you start to like him. You kind of like Ulf, and Ulf is now leaning Team Green. You've
I
shit on
think
Ulf on
it's
the podcast, but I think you find Ulf to be goofy.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's hilarious. He's a great character in the show. Like you said, the actor does a great job. But Darren and Gawain are my two sympathetic causes on the green side.
That's fair. That's fair. We're doing a Mount Rushmore this week, and we have a suggestion for a Mount Rushmore that we're going to do next week. We're going to end the season big, but this week we're doing blunt rotation. Our desired blunt rotation in Westeros.
Dream blunt rotation.
Dream blunt. Yes, that's right. Dream blunt rotation in Westeros. Um, yeah, that's really it. And Mount Rushmore, this one doesn't need a setup. Chris, we want to do all four at once, right? Each one of us individually.
Yeah, because it wouldn't make sense for us to name one and one if we're doing a full rotation. So
That's a
do you
great
want to
point.
lead us
I'll
off?
lead us off. My first one, and this is all of Westeros, right? So like Thrones and House of the
Yeah,
Dragon.
that works. Yeah.
Lady Olenna. Imagine smoking Jays with her, dude. And imagine her, like Jamie walks into that room. She's like, tell Cersei, tell Cersei. Want her to know it was me, man. oh, she's doing one of those. She's like, I'm freaking out, dude. Did you guys just beat our shit in, dude? And like when the Lannisters absolutely rout House Tyrell. Lady Olenna, Aegon. I think Aegon's easy. I think he seems like the kind of guy who, especially, he might be able to get medicinal because he's in like he's all crispy. So I feel like he could get it on the cheap with like a prescription. I'm sure you have this guy too, but that's okay. I think this one we're allowed to have duplicates. Ulf White. I think Ulf
Yeah,
brings a certain energy. He's a party guy. I think he's more of a drinker than he is like a marijuana guy. But I still think, you get him to take one or two, he's probably, a couple puffs, he's probably, soaking it in. And the fourth one's a complete curveball.
yeah.
Roose Bolton.
Whoa. Oh.
Yeah, no, come on, hear me. Wait a second.
That
Hear
sounds like
me
a
out.
nightmare blunt rotation having him in it.
He doesn't drink, right? In Game of Thrones, and I think that's a big part of his thing is that like he's got like this bad energy. We need to bring Roose in. We need to get him loosened up a little bit. And I think when he starts getting a little silly, I think me, him, Olenna, Aegon, and Ulf are just having a great time. Or Roose kills all of us. So that's an angle too that might happen. But if he loosens up, I think he has the potential to be really fun.
I think he makes everyone tweak and makes everyone nervous there. That's Bruce is just ruining the whole
That's
vibe.
fun. That's a fun time. Paranoia is really fun.
All right, for mine, I actually let me just put my spectacles
Oh
on
my
so I can read
goodness.
this one.
Wow.
What's this I got in here? What's this?
What do we
Let's
got
see.
here? Is this if you're watching on not watching on YouTube, you just opened an envelope.
Yep. All right. For my dream blunt rotation, it's gonna be Corliss Valerian,
Nice.
uh, Adam of Hull,
Right. Okay.
Alan of Hull,
Okay.
Bela Targaryen, Rhaena
That's five.
Targaryen.
Is Mount
um,
Rushmore.
we're basically just all of the Valerians and those with kind of their blood in it. And first of all, it's not for the reasons that you suspect.
Whoa,
It's really because
don't assume my expectations.
I'm gonna assume your assumption. However, it's really because they're the most loyal people that I've ever seen from Game of Thrones episode one to House of the Dragon of where we're at now. I mean, these guys have never betrayed any cause. They show up knowing that they're going to die. They stand on their business. They're willing to die for their king or queen. And so when you're in that blunt rotation with them, nothing bad's going to happen. It's going to be a chill time. There's going to be no paranoia, and you know,
That's fair. I think that's a solid draft. I mean, it really throws my Roose Bolton under the bus a little bit because with him it is a bit the vibes are a little off. But you know me, I kind of am into that whole thing. I like there's kind of like one wild card and everyone's kind of uneasy. I think that's fun.
yeah, someone say the Valerians don't crack. So
Stop it. Stop it. Just stop it. It's getting out of
what?
hand.
Stop what?
7 episodes of this season.
Stop what,
This is
John?
the first
I
you've
don't know
had
what you're
three
talking about.
seasons and out of nowhere you're on this thing now. You blew it. Fan favorite segment. You blew it. I'm gonna start. The you blew it is easy for me. It's Daemon Targaryen. You discussed
Mm,
it during the pod. He had every opportunity to maybe pull Rhaenyra aside and be like, I got to be honest with you. Um, Rhaena is sheep stealer's rider. I didn't know what to do. She didn't mean to kill Jace. She didn't kill Jace. She just kind of made him swoop low. But like she also technically did torch like a few Valyrian ships. So I guess that's a whole thing as well. But Daemon could have had every opportunity to be honest. So Daemon Targaryen,
You blew it.
you blew it.
you blew it, buddy. We love you, but you blew it. That was a good pick. My pick's gonna be his wife, Rhaenyra,
Mm.
for several reasons, but for sake of time, the one big one is Ulf was a very simple man. He had very simple needs, very simple desires, and you were completely blind to them, which is for the record out of character for Rhaenyra because again in season one she was all about those pleasures and desires and decision making drive being driven by that. So yeah, not being able to provide those simple needs is probably going to cost her in the long run. So Rhaenyra Targaryen,
You blew it.
you
You
blew
blew it.
it.
That's a great pick. That's a great pick. And again, I I'm sure there will be a lot of discussion this week on that scene between her and Mycelia. Unfortunately, um, I think it fits. I think the discussion being negative is unfortunate because I think that sometimes is forced by people online. I think the scene made sense. Honestly, the part of it that was the worst part was Rhaenyra seeking the maybe like the verbal validation. If Rhaenyra went in there kind of guns blazing, that would have been, I think, a lot cooler, just from the perspective of the character. But that's, I mean, that's what we've talked about in every instance with Rhaenyra is we would prefer her being a bit more guns blazing in everything. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
agreed.
Crown their ass. You go first.
So crown their ass, of course, is the king or queen, MVP of the episode. Mine will probably be similar to yours, Aegon Targaryen.
It's mine as well.
I mean, it's an obvious pick this week.
Great monologue. Sunfire's alive. He's back in the mix. The Greens, I honestly don't know how you even quantify them at the moment because Aegon has no love for Aemond. Aemond still doesn't have Vhagar. Aegon has Sunfire, but none of them know about Ormond and Tessarion. None of them know about Ulf for that huge host. So like the Greens have a lot of different things going on, but no cohesion.
Ormond continues to buy time for that cohesion to come together and things to kind of fall into place. Aegon, he started this series as a sympathetic character. He was born into a situation that he didn't love. He was in a lot of ways similar to Ulf in having those simple desires and just wanting to be one of the boys. And he got thrust into this unfortunate situation. And now, for the first time since he was crowned, I'm actually like, okay, Aegon, he's back. Kind of digging his storyline right now. This season, the Aegon storyline has probably been my favorite thus far. So
I agree.
he's back in a big way.
I think it's the one that's made the most. It's the one that if you were to look for blemishes, you'd find the least in it. Like Rhaenyra, obviously, there's a ton of blemishes. Alicent is, I don't know, Aemond. Ormond, I've liked Ormond a lot as well, but I
Yeah.
agree. I think Aegon's a legacy character. He's been here 3 seasons. Strategy with Lord Mims, and we talked about this a little bit with Ormond and Ulf. What though, genuinely speaking though, for Ormond, why not promise the world? What is too high a price for a Dragon Rider? From and not even from the sneaky perspective, but from just the honest to goodness, like we need Ulf. Yeah, I'll give you this castle. No problem.
What is too high a price for a Dragon Rider? So answering from Ormond's perspective, there's definitely some backstabbing going on here. He's going to offer Driftmark, and you know his disdain for the Targaryens, who it's actually in their blood to be Dragon Riders. So having this
Right.
person be lowborn and also having that, what was the word that Ormond used? Monstrosity, or basically just using awful words to describe dragons. So
Yeah,
there's no way that he's actually going to deliver Driftmark, even if the Greens end up winning the war, to someone like Ulf White. So that answers from that perspective. From a general strategic perspective, I would say that no price is too high for a Dragon Rider, especially for one like Silverwing, when it could turn this tip the scales of the war. But like the great houses of the Seven Kingdoms are going to hate your guts if you give Driftmark to the lowborn. So take that for what it's worth. And
good.
then overall, I think Ormond kind of outsmarted himself here because he's expecting for Ulf to completely turn sides, do what he says, and then he'll be able to betray Ulf at the end. Whereas I think Ulf is going to be like fully realizing his power now and that he can betray whoever he wants because he has a fucking dragon that's bigger than Tessarion. So what's to stop him from grabbing more power at Tumbleton?
100%. 100%. And they like I Aemond really threw a wrench in I think the Greens' plans. Like where the fuck is Aemond? Where's Vhagar? Like get your shit together, buddy, and focus up because we need you. Because the
Yeah.
game changes if Eamon just gets his head out of his ass.
Ulf is he's a dangerous piece, and I don't think Ormond realizes how dangerous that piece is. He's adding fuel to the fire.
But in a lot of ways, the same goes for Rhaenyra by giving these dragons to these guys, right? She sort of started it, like, didn't understand how dangerous the dragon seeds could be in hindsight. Like, she was so gung ho with it. and just expects loyalty because she gave him the dragons. You got Damon slapping him around in the streets. You're not giving Ulf his time with the boys. Denied Hugh his house. Like obviously Hugh is at least still on their side. We know Ulf is drinking with Ormond, so he's probably switching. So it's like, well, you set this in motion yourself by not having some control over these guys.
Rhaenyra dropped the ball by not understanding the motivations and desires of these folks. Otto Hightower, a Tywin Lannister, people of those ilk, even if Corlys was fully into these conversations, would be able to control this situation. But, again, Rhaenyra mishandling things.
And you've hinted at this too, that her small council has been really bad. Like my series done no whispering. Corlys has shown up to like three small council meetings between two seasons as the Hand of the King. It's just like not good, and like you're right. It's a power vacuum. It's a new queen trying to do what's right, but she's also hypersensitive to what people think of her. It's not a good recipe. And your husband is trying to kill everybody. No, I feel that. I feel that. Trial by combat. This is
What
where
we
I come
got?
up with a fake show or a movie to see if Chris likes it. This week, Chris, I'm back on my portal bullshit. I love good portals.
Oh,
Portals are
goodness.
what I use to pull other movies or real life into Westeros, essentially, just to allow for some fun crossover. And this week, I take two of my favorite, I would say, lores of all time. There's, of course, Westeros, the Seven Kingdoms, and one of my other favorite film series, actually, this ranks very high for me, Harold and Kumar, in a movie that I'm pitching
Elite.
called Harold and Kumar Conquer the Seven Kingdoms. So
Love that.
they've kind of gotten their life together, right? Harold is sweating through an expensive Italian suit. He's got a big meeting. He's going to become an SVP of whatever. And he's actually got a White Castle's suitcase too that he carries around because I love. It like looks like a crave case, but it's his briefcase. It's a White Castle's briefcase, which I love. It's a little throwback if you guys remember when Harold and Kumar went to White Castle. That was when it all began. That was when my love of Harold and Kumar began. Kumar shows up with this massive crystallized dragon egg bong. And he's like, yo, we got to hit this thing. And Harold's like, I can't. Like, those days are behind me. He's like, no, just do it. They do it. And of course, it's, I don't know the science behind it. But they get sucked into a portal through this dragon bong and they end up in the Seven Kingdoms. And in Act One, that's what happens in Act One. They get sucked in. They're at Castle Black and they're like hanging out with Jon Snow. And Jon Snow is like, winter is coming, the dead march upon us, and the night is dark and full of terrors. He's doing all that. And, Harold and Kumar are just like super high, and Jon Snow hates them. In Act Two, they get trapped at the Dreadfort, and like Ramsay's like trying to torture them, but
Oh
they
my
they
gosh.
wiggle out
These
of
are
it.
like the two worst places to be high in the Seven Kingdoms.
Well, they conquer the entire seven, so they got to go north to south, man. And they hang out with the Hound for a little bit, and they kind of hotbox him accidentally, and he gets super paranoid and starts like because he's he doesn't like heat, so he feels like he's on fire, and he starts like slashing at him, and they're like dodging him. And they go to Highgarden for a little bit, and actually the big epic finale is when they go into the Iron Throne, the throne room, in King's Landing, and you're sort of like that. This isn't in Game of Thrones, but in the novels, there is sort of like a fake Aegon thing going on, isn't there? Isn't there like
Big on. Yep.
another? Yeah, there's another like Targaryen. Maybe he's real, maybe he's not. We don't know yet.
Young Griff. Young
Young Griff.
Griff.
Is he with John Connington?
Yes, he is.
All right, thank you. See, this guy's what I'm knowing. And that character comes and he's got the long blonde Targaryen hair. And who is it? You guessed it right. It's Neil Patrick Harris. And he's fucking hanging out with him in the throne room. He claims it for him. It's awesome, dude. Harold and Kumar conquer the Seven Kingdoms. This is gonna go double platinum.
I'm in for all Harold and Kumar content, so couldn't be more in for this. Love the NPH inclusion. Can we all agree that we were way too young to watch Harold and Kumar go to White Castle when we did?
Oh, we 100% were. We watched Escape from Guantanamo Bay. This is when we first started becoming friends at in high school. You slept over at my house. We watched it. We rented it on like DirecTV pay-per-view. You'd go to like the
Oh,
13.99.
did
You'd
we?
hit the
Oh man, I was
Yeah.
hoping it was a blockbuster.
No, we did it on DirecTV pay-per-view, which nowadays even that is like obsolete. That doesn't exist anymore. But at the time, I remember going upstairs and telling my mom, I was like, "Can I rent this?" Because it was like $5, and she was like, "Yeah." Like, okay. And we watched it, and I'll never forget how insane it was. Like, to a room full of 15-year-old boys, that's the funniest thing that's ever existed.
George Bush portrayed in it.
Oh
What
yeah, I
was
forgot about
it was like a cock meat sandwich or something,
cock
wasn't
meat
that the thing?
sandwich.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the
we were
George
talking
Bush.
about that for like a year
That
after.
cock meat sandwiches were huge. The George Bush thing I'll never forget was he was like smoking weed with them. They had the George Bush impersonator guy who plays George Bush in the movies, like smoking weed with them. They're like, wait, you make this illegal and you smoke it? You're hypocritical, man. Fake George Bush goes,
This is
do
so
you like?
good.
Yeah, he goes, do you like hand jobs? And the guy goes, yeah. He's like, do you like giving hand jobs? And he goes, no. He goes, you're a fucking hypocritizer too. So if you guys get the
Still
chance,
hits.
yeah,
Still
still
hits over a
hits.
decade later.
Check out the trilogy because there's White Castles, Escape from Guantanamo Bay, and then a very Harold and Kumar Christmas, which actually in its own right is really funny. And Neil Patrick Harris is in all three, and he's great.
Yeah, well, now there's a fourth one, so you got to start from ground zero if you guys didn't watch it.
Yeah, check it out. Yeah, Chris, any final thoughts?
No, I'm very, very, very excited for next week.
Me too.
It's gonna be electric.
We got 2 episodes left, guys. One of House of the Dragon that we'll cover, and then the Thronies. So if you want to be fan of the year, do something. I don't know. Like, share, subscribe, the usuals. And God, I don't even know who to have hit me up this week because everyone has been so disappointing. Except, I guess, you know what? Aegon hit me up. You would love Harold and Kumar. Let's fucking watch Harold and Kumar, buddy.
Whips, check out the handle, switch, shoes on swoosh, hitters don't miss. Already just added a ton of y'all to my list. Bitch, death wish, not to be messed with, tested quiz.